There's a great aphorism in Rodolfo Llinas' book, the Vortex, where he's talking about movement. I mean, the whole thesis of that book really is about the primacy of movement and the origins of cognition and consciousness in movement. But this aphorism, which is, I think, it's one of the names of one of his chapters, is this thing that thinking is internalized movement. Thinking is internalized movement. Which is a fantastic idea. It's taken me a long way in terms of just thinking about stuff, really. Particularly, I suppose, since I tend to be walking whilst I'm thinking these days. So I feel like I'm instantiating what he's talking about to some degree. But what he seems to be saying there is that the process of movement, and he's really talking about movement by organisms that have got some kind of central nervous system, not the tumbling of tumbleweeds, or the floating of dandelion seeds, or the bending of trees in the breeze, although I do think there's something important about it. He's talking about the movement of organisms in the central nervous system, and how that, how that becomes part of the template by which thinking. It's right. It's part of it's the evolutionary origins of thinking, but I think it also provides a template for thinking. So it structures thinking as well as generates thinking. And I guess what he's saying there is that the act of moving, let's say walking, in its origins it would be much simpler forms of locomotion. The act of moving has a number of features to it. Firstly, it's a coordinated schematic physical activity. Certainly, any kind of complex movement, the movement of any kind of complex organism, involves the coordination of different parts of that organism, and particularly coordination of different parts of that organism in relation to what kind of the laws of physics around it, for example. So all the time I'm moving, and not only am I coordinating the parts of my body that are moving, the swing of my arms with the movement of my legs, but I'm also coordinating the body's relationship to the earth underneath me by making sure that my centre of gravity doesn't sway too far outside of my base, if you like. Because if that happens, I'll fall over. So my movement is also coordinated with the ground. Which reminds me of something Steve Paxton once said. Steve Paxton is a dancer, and he once says, nobody ever dances on your own, you always dance with the floor. And I think there's something right about that in relation to what I'm talking about here. There's a kind of coordination between body and physics that are required. And that coordination, that schematic coordination, if I understand Llinas, well, I'm kind of extrapolating from Llinas. If I'm extrapolating with any validity, that coordination provides part of the reasons for other kinds of coordinations, like the coordinations between concepts, the coordinations between ideas, which thinking is composed of. That idea is developed, well, in Llinas, but it's also developed in Pat Churchland's writings on neurophilosophy, where she brings in the idea of the senses, because movement and the coordination of movement of an organism and environment is, well, I guess what she's saying is that provides an opportunity or a threat. If you're in motion, you have the opportunity to guide that motion towards the site of enhanced survival, or you have the opportunity to guide yourself away from threats and dangers like predators, toxic environments. And so control over movement is valuable, but it's only valuable if you have the necessary sensory apparatus to be able to detect opportunities and threats. There's no point in having the ability to move out the way of danger if there's no way of detecting that danger. Or there's no way of there's no use in having the opportunity to move towards a food source if you can't detect that food source. So that kind of cybernetic loop between sensory detection and active motion and control of motion is really important in that regard. And Pat Churchland there is saying that again, like along with the schematic integrative tendency of that movement brings with it, that this sensory engagement and that linking of sense with action in a feedback loop. It also provides kind of the bedrock on which more complicated cognition, particularly the cognition that we associate with complex life forms like dogs and humans and horses and things, comes from. I don't think it entirely, well, not even close to entirely, I don't think it really gets to where people are. I don't think it really gets to talking about consciousness. That's not really the focus of what I'm interested in right now. But there are some interesting speculations to be made on that, I think. I mean, certainly there's a really nice lecture I was looking at by somebody called Llinas. I can't remember. I'll see if I can find the link and put it in the info box, where he's talking about the relationship between language and perception. So what he's saying is that this sensory engagement, this ongoing flow of sensory information that we have that's being integrated into a coordinated physical schematic system, with a view to potentially using that to guide our movements through the environment. What he's saying is that sensory data, which itself is very coordinated, again provides a template for language. So crudely put, a sentence is a little bit like how vision works. Putting a sentence together is a bit like trailing one's eyes through an environment, and you can kind of trace some aspects of grammar through some of the affordances of the eye, looking out into the world and seeing things and moving past things and seeing actions and so on. Now, of course, language isn't consciousness, but there's some kind of relationship there between language and thought, I think, which is unavoidable. Okay, so thinking is internalized movement, and that internalized movement is not only schematic, it's also sensorially engaged and connected to potential actions, and out of those things there is the potential for complex, integrated activity, which you might call cognition.